Go love your own enemies. Don't be loving mine. My enemies are the theocratic fascists. I don't love them. I want to destroy them.
Child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman.
I wasn't going to do another video about the whole police brutality, police having power trips, or police basically being bullies in uniform video. Not all police, but there sure seems to be some police that should not be wearing the uniform. This is another hopefully short video. I am going to include a clip from a recent event involving a young MMA fighter who is now paralyzed, probably for the rest of his life, because police took his physical well-being and basically his future and his quality of life as a joke and treated him like a joke when he was obviously very injured. I'm just looking at a website. There's a lot of them online and you can go and look yourself. It's easy to Google. I've had several people make the comment and I want to address it, and also address just the Black Lives Matter thing. My original feeling was all lives matter, but the problem with that particular line is it's like taking an eraser to the importance or the fact that there are people in this country that treat blacks like garbage, like they don't matter. I have seen so many clips of people, you know, a group of people, and the black person in the group is the one that gets targeted and treated brutally. But that said, other lives do matter too, and nobody's life deserves to be brutalized. Nobody deserves to be treated with disrespect. I agree that cops get jaded, and I think they get jaded very quickly by their job. The story that I mentioned in my video that I did yesterday about the man who I think was off his meds on my bus, that's what they see every single day. Not just one time like I did, but on a regular thing. That's their day every single day, and I can't even imagine what it would be like to be in that situation, that position. I couldn't do it. I'm glad now I didn't become a cop. There's no way I could have managed. I would have become I would have probably become mean as a person. Mean. And somebody suggested that on a regular basis all police officers should be required to participate in some kind of volunteer or community group. Just as a way to get away from the job, separate themselves from the shit, and re-ground themselves in reality, knowing or understanding that human beings are not, all they ever see, or mostly all the police ever see, is the very worst side of human beings. And I think it's a good idea that cops should be reminded that, there's a lot more to a person than somebody who's drug addicted, or somebody who's an alcoholic, or somebody who is under a great deal of strain, or suicidal. There's a lot more to a person than that one small aspect that the police see. That same person who's ranting and raving now could tomorrow be a completely different person. The guy who threatened me on the bus and I think was drunk and off his meds could be a completely different person the next day. In fact, I'm not totally positive, but I think he might have gotten on my bus the next time I drove that route. Guy gets on, he's got the same kind of yellow vest, same kind of outfit, and he has his head down, and like he's trying to hide his face as he gets on my bus, and he kind of mumbles a hello. And I kind of see a little glimpse of his face, and it looks like the guy. And he goes to the very back of the bus and rides a few stops, and then he gets off. If it is the guy, I almost think I suspect he might have gotten off the bus because he felt uncomfortable and embarrassed. I could be wrong, it might not be the guy, but I can totally imagine that if it was him and he got on my bus and saw that it was me, when he isn't drunk, and he might have been on his meds, or maybe he was just drunk and he's one of those kind of drunks that gets weird. But in his right state of mind, him feeling embarrassed by what he did. And then seeing me, oh God, that's the one, you know. But that's everybody, the majority or a huge chunk of people's lives are not spent being deviants. There are those that are, but a lot of the people that the police encounter that are, you know, acting like deviants in that moment, the next day might be a nice, normal person going to work on the bus, or taking care of their children, or going to school, or learning to play the guitar. I mean, there's so many other aspects to everybody's lives. Everybody's lives are, not everybody's, there's some people out there obviously who don't get to have all their dreams come true, but I digress. For most people, there is more to them than what the police see, is what I'm trying to say, and that is worth something. That is special and unique, and it is worth something. Like this MMA fighter, he had this bright career ahead of him. Yes, he had problems, and unfortunately the police had to deal with him when he was having problems, but that was one bad night for him, and he probably had a lot of good nights and a lot of good days ahead of him, and now he's going to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. Okay, I will play the clip, I promise. I just wanted to go through the statistics that I found on one of many web pages. Fatal force, breakdown of citizens killed by police in U.S. as of July 2016. Men, 484. 282 of them were by gun. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this over. Of the people killed, 484 of them were men. 25 were women. Weapons used, 282 were guns, 88 were knives, 35 were vehicles, 35 were unarmed, 27 unknown, 22 toy weapon, other 20. So these are the weapons that the people who were killed apparently had that caused them to be killed by the police. Again, I think I presented this wrong. They weren't 282 people with guns were killed by the police. 88 people with knives were killed by the police. 35 people were killed in vehicles by the police. 35 were unarmed, 27 unknown, 22 had toy weapons, and 20 were others. Race. 238 people that were killed by the police were white. 123 were black. 79 were Hispanic. 46 were unknown. 23 were other. Showed signs of mental illness. 385 non or unknown. 124 yes. So there's the statistics according to this page, and I suspect they're all going to be fairly similar. On the subject of there being more white people shot by police than black people, I found this article in the Washington Post referring to the fact that or I guess Huckabee had said something along the lines of, when in fact, as we know, more white people have been shot by police officers this year than minorities. Then the article says, in 2015, the Washington Post launched a real-time database to track fatal police shootings, and the project continues this year. As of Sunday, 1,502 people have been shot and killed by on-duty police officers since January 1st, 2015. Of them, 732 were white, 381 were black, and 382 were of another or unknown race. But data scientists and policing experts often note comparing how many or how often white people are killed by police to how many or how often black people are killed by the police is statistically dubious unless you first adjust for population. According to the most recent census data, there are nearly 160 million more white people in America than there are black people. White people make up roughly 62% of the U.S. population, but only about 49% of those who are killed by police officers. African Americans, however, account for 24% of those fatally shot and killed by the police, despite being just 13% of the U.S. population. As the Post noted in a new analysis published last week, that means black Americans are 2.5 times as likely as white Americans to be shot and killed by police officers. So yes, all lives do matter. White lives do matter. Hispanic lives matter. Native American lives matter. Women's lives matter. Men's lives matter. All lives matter. Everybody has worth. Everybody should be treated with consideration and compassion. And I'm sorry, but bullies should not be wearing the uniform. People in it for the glory and the power trip should not be in it for the uniform. I saw a clip where it was a story of a woman a white person who raised a black son, and the kid was pulled over with a white friend, and the cops, the white friend had pawed on him, so the cops had the white friend in handcuffs. The black kid had never done anything wrong. He was a good citizen. He asked the cops, "Don't you need a search warrant to look in my car?" And they proceeded to beat him to a bloody pulp. Beat him unconscious, and when he woke up, he looked up and saw them looking down at him and laughing. It was actually an animation of a story, and I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I got the impression that it was a true story. Probably is a true story. Probably there's a lot of stories like it, but it was one more thing that affected me. Laughing, you knock somebody unconscious, a young man unconscious, and you stand around and laugh. It's a joke to you that somebody is injured and unconscious. You know, people can die from concussions. People can die. People can be mentally brain damaged for the rest of their lives from brain injuries, and you're standing there laughing. How many times has a black man, woman, white man, woman, Hispanic man, woman, whatever, been beaten by the police, and it's a joke to the police, like it's funny? What kind of mentality is that? And now, bringing on the whole video that I wanted to show, look at the way the cops treat this young man who has fallen. The video, I will warn you, is graphic. I actually fast-forwarded through the part where he injured himself because I didn't want to see. But I watched the part before and I watched the part after, and how they treated him. You can just see on the back of his neck that he has been injured. He is clearly injured in the video. And look at how the police treat him. They don't call the ambulance. They don't call the paramedics. They don't lay him down carefully on the cement and try to keep him immobile. They don't do all the things that you're supposed to do when somebody has a spinal cord injury. I am not a trained medic. All I know is from watching ER and the TV show Emergency when I was a kid, that you do not touch a person with a suspected spinal injury at all. You do not move them at all. And the way they treat this young man, if it was possible for him to be rehabilitated after he breaks his neck, so that he could regain feeling and movement in his lower extremities. The cops, basically, the way they treated him ensured that that chance is next to impossible now. They basically, any chance of recovery for him was destroyed by the way they treated him after he was injured. They treated him like people who have never had any first aid training at all. That's how they treated him. What the fuck? They're cops. Don't they know how to treat injured people? Apparently they aren't going to be punished for what they did to this young man permanently, disabling him for the rest of his life. And I think they should have been. I think this is more police brutality. And it's a good example of the fact that there are bullies out there and people on power trips. And it doesn't really matter what color you are. So people who get upset when they hear Black Lives Matter, they do have a reason to be a little bit indignant, because yes, all people are targeted by these police with this mentality. And this should not be allowed and tolerated in our police force at all, toward any group of people or any gender at all. Anyway, so here's the video. If you've been watching, thanks. Bye.
What's changed in the last few months?
Nothing, sir.
What goddamn judges?
For some reason, I guess that man had to treat him good before you know. He doesn't like you. That makes me mad, but then I understand him, you know?
Yeah.
Just leave him alone, that he hasn't figured it out.
Uh-huh.
I think he's giving a hamburger and a cup of coffee and treating him good, you know?
Yeah. That's what it needs.
He's like a mean old guy that's mad. You treat him good, you start to go the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to see you again, man. I said good to see you again. Take it easy.
Yep. Go ahead, guys. Do what?
Wow, man.
Go ahead. Huh? What's going on, dude? Never mind, you tell me what's going on. I don't know. Go ahead. It's all right. Oh, man. You guys go ahead. Go ahead.
If Franker didn't put you in costume man right now, there's no reason right now. We're not gonna do anything. Yeah, we're not gonna do anything right now, man. Yeah, we're not gonna do anything.
Money, I'll go get him a hamburger or something. Bring it back. We'll get it. I'll go get him a hamburger and shit. I'll bring it back. Hey. Nobody's here arresting me, Donovan. You're right. Nobody's here arresting me. I understand. Get up and go home. Am I right? Stay there, don't move.
Alright, Donovan. Stay there, okay? You gotta see her there, right?
That's it.
There you go. Get over. You okay? You walk right? Alright. Alright, boy. Oh, before you get in, hold on. Is in your pockets? You want to poke us, boy?
What'd you do with that handcuff key you showed me?
You got it. Watch out, buddy. Step in. Step in. Feel the foot up there, bud. Need help? Do you need help?
No, sir.
No?
You need help.
Nope. There you go. Okay?
You take those dogs up there.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with him since he doesn't have a cage.
You got it.
Come on, Donovan. Come on, Don. You can't do that to me. Stop it. Okay. I stopped. Put your hands back. I stopped. Stand up. I can't stand up. Alright, come down. Sit down. Stand up. I stopped. We're not doing anything, Donovan. Donovan, stand up. Come on, Donovan. Stand up, Donovan. Okay? You okay? Yeah. Stand up, Donovan. Stand up.
We're going to pick them up. We'll put them sideways on there.
Okay.
Okay? Ready? We're done.